Hello and Randy here, welcome back to Farming Simulator 25 on Arkansas here. Since last episode, we finished up all the harvesting, and we're now into early spring, or actually almost mid-spring here, I guess, technically, right? But we're in the month of April here, year 4 on the map here. Not a whole lot changed since your last episode. I just finished up harvest, that was about it. Haven't sold any crops here yet. I do have the trucks. Okay, well, they're supposed to work. I don't know what keeps happening. I've had this happen a couple times here. The truck gets stuck here. And, I mean, you folks tell me, what is it stuck on? Like, yeah, what? Oh, right there. Is that what it's stuck on? That's got it. Well, oh, it's stuck over here. Okay. Well, whatever it was, he might have been stuck on that this time. I could not figure out what he was stuck on last time. I was looking, I'm like, okay, he's right down the middle. He's right down the middle. You know, I'm looking over here. I don't know. I could never figure out what he was stuck on last time here. The only thing I could think of was the ground's a little uneven here, but it didn't seem like that was the problem either. And, like, when I say he was stuck, he was stuck. Like, you know, you folks seen him, I just, you know, used the hand here. Heavy lift and just picked it up and tried to, I could not get it to budge. I'm like, what in the world? Finally had to get really violent with it, and then it finally, whatever was holding it down, released. But it doesn't happen every time either. So like this one, yeah, he pulled through there just fine. So no idea. Anyway, what are the trucks doing, by the way, Evan? Those are hauling long grain rice and wheat down to the grain mill here. And I just finished sleeping through the night, so they might be, yeah, looks like they actually are out. We got some wheat. We're out of long grain rice here. And actually, speaking of the rice, we are probably like actually out, or it's got to be really close. Long grain, oh yeah, really close. 22,000 liters left, Evan. In fact, I doubt we'll have enough to bring it to probably even the canning factory. The canning factory does hold a little bit more. It is out, though. Yep, I wasn't sure. I know last time I checked, Evan, there was a few thousand liters left, so looks like we are now out here at the canning factory, so we're no longer making rice rolls. I would have thought of it with the amount of rice we had that we would have had plenty of rice here to keep those factories going, but apparently between field 20 and then the 2 fields on 22, that is still not enough rice to supply both the grain mill and the canning factory, at least not with them running at the 300% capacity anyway, so oh well. Oh, and then I was going to point out here, I almost forgot, I just seen the map. I don't know what happened. But I had Courseplay go harvest field 18 for us after last episode. You know what? Just, Courseplay. It looks like the Courseplay course is already loaded. Yeah, you know what? We'll just have Courseplay do it, right? Don't know what Coursplay's problem was on this field. First off, it was crashing into every single object around the field here. Like, oh my goodness, Evan. Like, if there was an object on this field to crash into, Courseplay was crashing into it. So I try to find my way through the fog here. Again, I don't know why, but I'm just directionally challenged on this map here myself for some reason. I don't know why that is. I don't know. Anyone else playing this map? I guess maybe it depends where you're playing on the map, but at least down in this corner of the map, it just, I don't know why. The directions just do not feel natural. Well, I might not be able to show you folks very well here now that the weeds are here. And it's foggy too. But, well, let's just go look at the map, Evan. Courseplay left soybeans just like all over the place on this field. I don't know what is up with that of them, but they're withered now, of course, here, right? So that actually maybe you can see a little bit better. Of course, the corners, I mean, like, you know, Courseplay typical in the corners, right? Nothing unusual there. But then all these spots around the field here, just patches of soybeans. I'm like, what in the world? I don't know. You can see I just left them. I didn't think it was enough to bother going to harvest all the little patches, but like, what in the world? No idea one. So I was a little bit disappointed on that one with Courseplay. Like, Courseplay usually does a pretty good job without missing spots. Courseplay usually also does a pretty good job without, you know, crashing into every single object that's surrounding the farm. But harvesting that field, they did not do a good job. I mean, it was crashing into trees, buildings, the shed. No, did he get? Yeah, I think he even got to the shed here. Got to this barn. I know it was crashed in the barn one time. The trees. I don't know. Is there anything else? It was. Yeah, I had to fix it a couple times. It was just crashing into everything. Like, I don't know what was going on with them, but Courseplay was not having a good day when I was harvesting that field. Anyway, this episode of it, like I said, we're obviously into the month of April here. We got some field work to do, and we've got some planting to do. And I accidentally skipped through March. I wasn't even paying attention. I'm just like, sleep, 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 sleep. Oh, crap, it's April already. Okay, well, we better stop sleeping here, I guess. I meant to stop in the month of March, Evan, but completely just, we blew on past, and, well, March is a thing of the past. Now, I guess it is history. Anyway, let's, well, I guess we don't need to quite go to the shop yet. Let's go check our fields here. see what's what we need to work up. Field 16, of course, is our wheat field here, our winter wheat. We did not get much in the way of fall tillage done. Other than, 16 is good, but actually, speaking of fall tillage, I guess there's not a whole lot that actually needs to be done. None of these actually need to be plowed from the looks of it, so that is good. Plan on putting beets, I think, down on 17 is the plan on that one, so that's going to be a big beet field. Question is sugar beets or red beets? Not too picky, I guess. I'm good either way. Oh, I was going to mention, too, I did pay off the loan here. So for those who are wondering, loan, we're sitting at $2 million and $0 in loan. I did stop and pay the loan down $5,000 at a time. That was exciting. Everyone was pushing the backspace. At least you can just push the backspace key. You don't have to, confirm, backspace, confirm, enter, confirm, enter. You can just keep pushing it until it's paid off. But, that took a solid, 20 minutes of pushing. Okay, maybe not quite that much, but still. Come on, Giants. $5,000 at a time. Let's make it $250,000 at a time or something or 25. 5,000 really? Yeah, we gotta petition to get that changed. Because that is just absolutely ridiculous. Nobody wants to be spending half their life paying down the loan $5,000 at a time. Okay, anyway, with that rant out of the way, let's get some equipment rolling here. I'm gonna check my calendar here. I should be able to plant. Yes, red beets, and we're in the last one for sugar beets. So I think that means we're going to do the red beets, then. Let's do red beets. We need to get our seeder set up here for this. Actually, I'm not even sure. Where is the seeder? That's just going to be one advantage there of doing the sugar beets, right? The sugar beets I can use the regular planter for. But with the red beets, wow, it is foggy. I would skip time of them, but we're already into April, so I want to make sure we have enough time to get all the fields planted here. We got 1 month to do everything. If I would have stopped in the month of March, we probably could have planted some crops then, but... Oh, there's our seeder. Oh, and I wonder... You are probably not no-till capable, are you? That'd be just too convenient, right, Evan? Let's check. I'm betting it is not capable of no-till. Vegetable planters. Let's see, and the one we have is that one. Special planter used to plant vegetables. Doesn't say it's capable of no-till. No, and Giants, suffice to say, it's probably not. So we're going to need to get some tillage going here. Which pretty much means the 9 RXs on that job. Our 8Rs, RXs can pull our cultivator, subsoiler, plow, whatever you want to call it. But not at full speed, so... Speaking of which, where is it? Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. I thought I left it over here somewhere. Hard to see in the fog. Luckily, once we get away from the farm, everyone... Well, I guess maybe depends where, but I believe the fog kind of lifts here, so... A couple of these fields that are right by the farm, yeah, they're going to be a little foggy, but... It is whoa. That is epic levels of fog here, man. There we go. Now it opens up a little bit. And we are going to field 17. So, yeah, probably should cut across this road here. Probably make the most sense, I think. And for those who are wondering, by the way, I do have some plans on that $2 million we have sitting there. I figure we're going to start working on a new crop type. Well, not new to the game, but plant a different new crop type on the map here. Oh, we kind of need to go on the other side here, don't we? Yep. We need this road. Or actually, no, there's not. I guess there's not a path around here. For some reason, I thought there was. Well, there's an auto drive route that goes around here. I do know that much. There's the field I'm looking for. Right? Yes. Wow. It's even foggy out here, isn't it? We might just have to, fast forward time just a little bit here. Usually, 10 o'clock or so. That kind of gets rid of the fog. We might just have to do that so we can get rid of the fog here, because it is thick. There we go. Now the 9RX is pulling it. I was getting worried there for a minute. Like, whoa, 6 miles an hour. That's not good. Usually the 9RX pulls it. Yeah, that's more like about 9 miles an hour. As I've said before, though, I mean, the speed that the 8Rs pull it at is probably a little more realistic, right around that, 6 to 7 miles an hour. Like this type of cultivator, subsoiler, you're really not going to want to go much quicker than that in real life. I know the game lets us go 9. And keep in mind, when they call this a farming simulator. Might want to maybe stick the word arcade in there a little bit of one. And no offense against Giants here. I mean, good game of them, don't get me wrong. But it might be a bit of a stretch to call this a farming simulator, just in my opinion. But I think I've mentioned that before. But yeah, again, to call this a simulator, I don't know. To my way of thinking, if you're going to call a game a simulator, it's got to be somewhat accurate to real life. And I guess this game is somewhat accurate, right? But there are a lot of things that are left out as well. Well, that's maybe why we play the game instead of farm in real life, right? I know there's a lot of people that farm and play this game in real life. But for myself, I think I'll stick to the virtual farming here. Because, yeah, the farming in real life thing, don't get me wrong, it can be fun. But it's also a lot of work, a lot of frustration. And, well, yeah, you folks watch some of the actual real-life farming channels out there, you'll kind of see it, right? Equipment breaks down. Hey, I don't have to worry about equipment breaking down in the game. Now, the equipment in the game, obviously, yes, it does, wear out, stuff like that. But I just click a button and it's repaired. So, yeah. I don't have to worry about my crops coming up. I plant the crops, they come up in the game. Unless you do something really bad, and I don't know what you could potentially do, F1. The crops come up. I don't have to worry about, not getting enough rain and the yield is bad. That's actually a feature I wouldn't mind actually seeing in the game. That. I think that would be kind of cool. And I've actually said this before. I'd like to see some variability in the yield across the field, right? And yes, I know for those of you, there is variability in the yield across the field, but it is solely due to soil type. Unless you forget to do something to part of a field, you fertilize half of it and you don't fertilize the other half. Barring any situations like that, everyone, there is no variability in yields across these fields. Again, other than soil type. I'd like to see, variability, just maybe even if it's random, right, everyone? I'd like to see it tied to some hey, we didn't get much rain in this corner of the map. Okay, these fields aren't going to yield well, right, or something, or I don't know. I'm trying to think whatever else might be, right. But like I said, it could even be random. Even if it's just random yield across the field. Okay, fine. And the reason I say that is because random yield across the field is probably a lot easier to do rather than controlled yield. But yeah, just even those couple of topics, right? Like equipment breaking down. Don't have to worry about it. Don't have to worry about the crops coming up. Don't have to worry about crop yields. You're going to get what you're going to get. That, I think it's worth probably mentioning too. Giants is quite generous in their earnings in the game, shall we say. Now, keep in mind, everyone, I could change that. I could make I could play this game in hard, everyone. For those of you wondering, I typically play the game in easy. I play in easy mode, everyone. I do not play in hard. I know there are some people that play in hard. I think it all comes down to, how long do you want the map to last? And obviously, for me, I like the map to last. We usually go about 50 episodes or so. Sometimes if it's a really good or a really good map, maybe I'll go to 100 episodes. But typically, my goal, I usually try to aim for about 50 episodes, give or take a little bit. Usually a little more on that would be the give side, I guess, right? Usually get up in that 60 episode mark or so, but sometimes 70, 80. But yeah, again, like I said, that's going to kind of depend on how quickly you want the map play to go. So if you want the map to take longer, crank up the difficulty. It just means you make less money. And it's kind of in multiples of 2. So you go from hard to normal level, you make twice as much. You go from normal to easy, you make twice as much. So for those of you doing the math, if you go from hard to easy, you make 4 times as much, almost. Not maybe quite 100%, but real close to that. But let's face it, even in hard mode, everyone, you're going to make money. Now, I forget the, what mod was it? Back in Farming Simulator 19 Days, I think? It was like one of the realism mods or something like that. I don't remember which mod it was, to be specific, Evan. That mod made it interesting. Like, there was some situations where you'd harvest the field and, like, you didn't make any money. Like, whoa. Like, okay, well, this is like real farming. This sucks. Again, virtual farming, Evan. You don't have to worry about running out of money. Even if you're playing in hard mode in this game, you don't have to worry about running out of money. It might take you a little longer, but... And again, like I said, I like the maps to go fairly quick, Evan, so I play in easy mode. That way within, a couple of months we can buy 9 RXs. It kind of depends on the starting point, too, Evan. And I've said this before, too, Evan. The speed at which you can progress on a map really depends on the field size, in my opinion. So if you play on a map that has big fields, like, you can make progress fairly quickly. You play on a map that has smaller fields, boy, it seems like you're kind of dragging it out sometimes. Like, it takes you a while. You got to grind on it a little bit to actually finally get, like, hey, I can finally afford a bigger tractor. Whereas, a map like this, that one, I go harvest, we'll just say field 16 here, for example. Let's just say soybeans, good example, because we planted soybeans here, not last year, but the year before, when we had soybeans in that field. Planted that field. We harvested, we sold the soybeans, and after selling the soybeans from just that field, like, we could buy 2 9RXs. So, yeah. Now, if we were playing on hard mode, everyone, I guess we probably could have bought, like, a half a 9RX. Or somewhere thereabouts, maybe. Because I think, what did we make? We made, like, $1.25 million, I think, if I remember correctly. I think it was like $1.25 million off the soybeans on that field. I think that's what it was. Don't quote me on that one, but I think. I have to go back and look again. But speaking of soybeans, we do have soybeans to sell here. Not a whole lot, by the way. There is, where's the soybeans? Yeah, 44,000, basically one truckload, 114,000. Or actually, no, 163,000, I'm sorry. 163,000 if we sell it in the month of July. Speaking of selling, by the way, I realized I forgot to sell the sorghum here. I guess we still could. I mean, 130 versus 107. It's $20,000. I'm looking up at the top right there. Think we're going to notice? Yeah, probably not. So I might get the trucks going on that here. We probably have all the long grain rice hauled here, don't we? I'm looking. I don't know. Rice. Yeah, I don't think we have any long grain rice. So all the long grain rice has been hauled in. We should still have wheat out. Like, we had a lot of wheat on hand. 237,000 liters of wheat, so we're good there for a bit. The grain mill, I believe, is the only one that needs the wheat. So, versus the rice oven, where the rice can go to the canning factory and the grain mill. Man, we can't make rice rolls with regular wheat. Wheat rolls. Okay, I think I'm going to throw a hired worker on this. Let the hired worker finish up the rest of the field here. We'll have to get this field worked up before we start planting beets on it. Again, we'll put the red beets, everyone. Red beets, that also has the advantage we don't have to top them, right? Don't think we have to top the red beets. Before sugar beets can be harvested, the foliage needs to be cut. Yeah, okay. So that is for sugar beets. So red beets, Evan. Yeah, it doesn't make that super clear. It just says topping is needed prior to using this machine, but I believe that only applies to sugar beets. So, okay, AI worker, if you could kindly get started on that, greatly appreciated, And then we should probably get some planters and seeders rolling here. Ooh, it is foggy. And we can plant rice now, right? Let me double check. We should be able to. Hopefully I didn't miss that. Oh, I'll get to the right screen here one of these days. Long grain rice. The one and only month we can plant long grain rice, in the month of April. Okay, perfect. Let's see, that is the cedar, right? Which one of you does long grain rice here again? Yes, cedar. Okay, got it right in the first try. Unfortunately, we can, or should be able to no-till with this one. Start filling seeds. Perfect. Looks like solid fertilizers are already topped off. We'll just head out away from the farm here. Yeah, like I said, the fog gets a little bit less here. At least a little bit less. It's not like completely gone, but it is better. And obviously, we're going to be planting now long grain rice on all three of the rice fields here again. They are rice paddies after all. Yeah, let's get that folded out. Get our steering assist set up. Perfect. And double check. We are set on long grain rice. Perfect. Locking on. Yes, yes, I know. We can only plant inside of the field. Oh, I should check. I think we were good on lime. Let me double check this here, man. I just happened to think of that. pH. Yeah, we should be good on these fields because we just did lime on these fields. And just looking at the color, I think we're good on all these fields. I might have to check 18. 18 looks a little bit suspicious to me. Again, as I've said before, really the only way to tell, in my opinion, you almost have to go out to the field and look. And pH is good. Like, we should be able to plant one more. No, two more, right? No, one more. No, it is two more. Because we'll plant this crop, it'll drop down to okay. We can then plant that crop, it'll drop down to after that. So we should be able to put two more crops on this field before we need lime. Well, depending on the part of the field here. Oh, there's an okay. That looks like most of it's good. You know, again, that's why I say you really can't like go by the color. Because I'm just looking at this like, I see, you know, kind of light green, yellow here. So this one might need it. How about 19? That's right. Can't visit it from that screen. It'd be nice if Giants would change that. Like, why can I only do certain things from certain screens? I get the precision farming that, like on this precision farming one, only the precision farming stuff would show up. But how come I can't visit the field from this screen? Like, be kind of nice. Economic analysis. Ooh, we made a lot of money off that one. Ah, there we go. Total values. Value since last reason. Well, I haven't reset it, so I don't know why that's not completely in there, but whatever. Out of curiosity, field 16. Like, that's our big one. Economic analysis. Don't know why it's reset again, because like I said, I'm not resetting it. Unless it just automatically resets with the new year. Maybe it does. $853,000. That does not quite sound right, I want to be honest, because, again, I'm pretty sure we made like $1 million something in soybeans. Yeah, unfortunately, that's not going to show up in the data anymore, because that only shows a couple months worth of data. Oh well. I think we're good. Continue planting. Okay, why did my steering turn off? I had it on, didn't I? I swear I had the steering assist turned on. I wasn't. Anyway, let's head over to the comment section here in a moment. Always enjoy reading all your comments, Evan. So if you got something to say, throw it down below. And starting off with the first comment here from Jake. Jake was saying, great playing. Hey, thank you very much for that. Christopher was saying, good video, keep it up. Thank you very much for that as well. Willard was also saying, good video. Thank you very much for that. Okay, this is a comment I believe I read before. I'm going to read it again. A reminder here, by the way, when YouTube with their comments, it doesn't show them like in order anymore. So, you know, YouTube made some changes here a while back, and apparently they've determined that they have a better order to show comments in. And the best I can tell, that order is like randomness. Kind of the way YouTube recommends videos sometimes. YouTube will like to recommend random videos to you, which is very well possible how you got to watch this video. So, not necessarily a bad thing in some cases, I guess, but I don't know, displaying the comments randomly seems a little weird. Anyway, like I said, read this comment here. Caleb Cesar was saying, I used to work in a rice mill in Louisiana. Didn't really like the job, sweeping up rice every day in the mill. Sounds like an interesting job. I'm curious, like a rice mill, what's different with a rice mill, Evan, versus like a grain mill? Oh, just asking. I'm not entirely sure. Same type of thing, maybe? You know, a rice mill, they grind the rice up into rice flour, I guess, right? Just like a regular grain mill takes wheat into flour. Then, of course, Evan, you can also get, what, wheat flour, barley flour, oat flour. I don't know, other than the other flour. A whole bunch of other flours out there probably as well. I know for the folks that are, allergic to gluten, right? I believe it's gluten. That is, of course, from wheat flour. So if you're allergic to gluten, then you can, use oat flour, I think, right? Something like that. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I believe like wheat flour, both wheat and barley have the gluten, I think, right? I think that's how that works, if I remember correctly. I was going to say, yes, I'm in the field here, but okay. A little close to that edge there. Maybe for some reason it thinks we're outside of it. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, okay. Prime example. I'm just looking at the comments here. I just read Caleb's. Like, I know I read this one. The next comment here, I believe I read this one here too. That's about the restoring a save game. I think I read that one last episode. Mike's comment here about new onions in the DLC. I believe I read that one last episode. Here's a new one from Hetero. Like, I know I haven't read this one. This one here is only, 20 hours old. So this comment got left after I recorded yesterday's video. And here it is. Whatever. Anyway, Hetero was saying Giants made the AI workers useless. In the past, they were tolerable but user-friendly. Now they're crap. Same as the guidance steering, another one of Giants' mess-ups. I don't know there, Hetero. I'm going to have to disagree with you, I think. I think the hired workers are significantly better, in my opinion. And I think the steering actually works pretty good. Now, don't get me wrong. I've got some complaints. One of them here just a minute ago, like it keeps turning off. That is kind of annoying, but I don't know. I think the hired workers are better. Like, light years better. Like, way better. I'm curious, again, Hetero says the AI workers are useless. I'm like, what part do you find useless? Like, because the AI workers, and maybe this depends a little bit on the map, Evan, but for the most part, most of the maps I've played on, I've had good success. Every so often you get a field that, like, ooh, they do not do so well on that field, but generally speaking, I would say that hired workers do, like, a really good job here in Farming Simulator 25 compared to past, Evan. Like, in past versions of Farming Simulator, like, how often did I use hired workers, right, Evan? Like, typically, I almost never used hired workers in past versions of Farming Simulator. They were that bad. I always just stuck with course play. Like, want to go work up a field? Course play. Want to go harvest a field? Course play. Like, I did not typically use hired workers a whole lot. They were just way too derpy, useless, and useless. Worthless. In my opinion. They were not tolerable. They are, again, everyone's entitled to their opinion. In my case, I'd say the hired workers are definitely tolerable here in Farming Simulator 25. In fact, I would argue, compared to what they used to be, they are downright good. Now, would I like them to maybe start where I have them? Would be kind of nice. And kind of a minor quibble, in my opinion. Like, yes, I'd like them to start here. Are they going to? No, they're going to go start wherever they think they need to start at, which I don't know what determines that one, but... And then as far as the guidance steering, I don't know. I think the guidance steering is really good here as well, one. Is it as good as the steering assist GS mod, the guidance steering mod? I would argue probably better in some ways. Now, there is one slight, or maybe significant, depending on how you look at them, there's one significant downfall / feature that's not there with steering assist guidance steering in Farming Simulator 22 and also Farming Simulator 19, by the way. It was the same mod in both. You can obviously set up your own custom line, and you didn't have to have a field. Like, you could set the line up wherever. The one maybe slight downside to the guidance steering here, the steering assist in Farming Simulator 25 with Giants, is you have to have a field. Without a field element, it doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. So that might be a slight downside. I personally don't have too much in the way of complaining about that. And then you got the added benefits of headlands and stuff like that. So again, I like the steering assist. Like I said, got some minor quibbles with it. Same thing with the AI workers. That one got some minor quibbles, but in my opinion, they are just way, way, way better. I mean, to the point, you folks, I don't usually use Courseplay for doing field work anymore. Usually, hey, hired worker does better than Courseplay. I know who would have thought you'd ever say that, right? Anyway, speaking of saying stuff, everyone, it is time to stop saying stuff here because it is time to wrap it up this episode. You folks have any comments or questions, be sure to leave them down below. Let me know what you folks think on hired workers and steering assist and Courseplay. Throw it down in the comments. I'm kind of curious. So with that, everyone, till next time.